I think our public debate needs to concentrate a little more on what it would take to make our progress even faster. I think it needs to concentrate more on how to improve infrastructure, how to improve the delivery of public services, and how to build institutions. It also needs to concentrate more on the achievements that we can legitimately be proud of. We can't be all the time just running down institutions of governance because there have been some cases of wrongdoing. As you all know, under our Constitution, maintenance of public order, which would include prevention, detection, and prosecution of offences, is the domain of the executive. The police and the investigation agencies, therefore, are a part of the executive and must function under its administrative supervision. This brings me to an issue which has made much news in the recent months, that of autonomy of the CBI and generally of the police. I think it is very important to remember that under the law, the police enjoys complete autonomy in the matter of investigation of offences, and no one other than a superior police officer can interfere with such investigation. I would also like this gathering to reflect on the issue of autonomy of a police organization. Autonomy in investigation is already guaranteed. If anything more needs to be done to further insulate the investigative process from external interference, we must not hesitate to do it. But it would be worthwhile to introspect if the debate on autonomy should lose sight of the fact that the CBI and other investigating agencies are part of the executive. We should be able to clearly distinguish between operational autonomy and the rules of oversight, supervision, and control in organizational and institutional matters that are normal for public bodies of the executive funded by public money. That the debate on autonomy has acquired political overtones is indeed unfortunate. What is almost as distressing is that sensitive investigations are increasingly becoming subjects of running media commentary, often on the basis of material that is not otherwise in the public domain. No one can appreciate better than this gathering of experts that confidentiality is in the interest of the integrity of an ongoing investigation. This was precisely the thought process behind exempting the CBI from the Right to Information Act. I hope that as responsible professionals, you will be able to reflect on this issue in the correct perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, over time, investigating agencies in our country have been increasingly inquiring into administrative decisions and also matters relating to policy making. Such cases require great care in investigation, while actions that prima facie show mollified intent or pecuniary gain should certainly be questioned. Pronouncing decisions taken with no ill intention within the prevailing policy as criminal misconduct would certainly be flawed and excessive. Policy making is a multi-layered and complex process in the government and will increasingly become more so, and therefore I do not think it would be too appropriate for a police or agency to sit in judgment over policy formulation without any evidence of malafide. In order that public servants may not be paralyzed in taking effective decisions based on their own sound judgment and on the apprehension of an ill-informed inquiry or investigation, it is necessary that lines of confidence be clearly drawn between investigating and police agencies on the one hand and honest executive functionaries on the other. Indeed, the protection of the honest is a facet of Article 14 of the Constitution of India and is an obligation chargeable on the state. It is with this in view that the Prevention of Corruption Act Amendment Bill 2013 has been introduced in the Parliament to amend a provision which presently criminalizes, even in the absence of any mens rea, any action of a public servant that secures for any person a pecuniary advantage. It is also important that errors of judgment are distinguished from criminal acts. As I have said on earlier occasions, decision-making in a world of uncertainty is a highly risky operation, and some decisions which appear sensible ex ante may ex post turn out to be faulty. Our administrative step has to be so managed that the fear of the unknown must not lead to paralysis in decision making. A trained mind is necessary for discovering criminality. When a charge sheet is filed, the charge sheet must go through rigorous processes of scrutiny, and there must be a high chance of securing conviction in that case. This highlights the need for greater professional expertise in the CBI, including from non-police organizations. I have touched upon this subject earlier also, but this is something that is well worth repeating. Ladies and gentlemen, even as the CBI strengthens its capacity and effectiveness, it must also work not only to strengthen the state anti-corruption bureaus, but also the state CIDs and economic offensive wings. I am therefore happy that the CBI is considering setting up a center of excellence that will build knowledge partnership with leading national and international institutions in the field of investigation, prosecution, technology, forensics, and management. This is an excellent initiative and I commend it. Let me end, ladies and gentlemen, by wishing this conference all success. Great importance attaches to your recommendation, and I wish the CBI even greater success in its endeavor in time to come. Thank you.